Laudato Jesus Christus. Praised be Jesus Christ. Hello everyone and welcome to this live broadcast of Pope Leo XIV's visit to the Great Mosque of Algiers on Monday, April 13th. The Pope landed in Algeria this morning, the first leg of his apostolic journey across 4 African countries. My name is Isabella de Carvalho and I'll be providing the English language commentary and translations for this papal event. A very warm welcome to all of you from wherever you are joining us. Some of you may be joining through various Vatican media channels, perhaps the Vatican News or the Radio Vaticano app, the Vatican News website, or Vatican News English's YouTube channel or our Facebook live feed. Welcome also to all of you joining us through our media partners, EWTN TV, Catholic Faith Network in America, Salt and Light TV, Mada TV, Shalom World TV, Atmadarshan TV, and Catholic TV. And welcome to all of our friends from the Deaf Catholic Youth Initiative for the Americas. Please visit our Vatican News YouTube channel to find translation in American Sign Language or ASL. As we saw earlier, the Pope was entering the Great Mosque of Algiers, and here we can see it from above. So it is one of the biggest mosques it's the 3rd largest mosque in the world after the Great Mosque of Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina. Here we can see the Pope. He is walking with the rector of the mosque, Mohammed Mamoun Al-Kazimi. Behind him is also Cardinal Jean-Paul Vesco, the Archbishop of Algiers, and other representatives. As I was saying earlier, this is one of the biggest mosques in the world. It can hold up to 120,000 worshippers, and its 267-meter minaret is the tallest in the world. It was built on initiative of the former president, Abdel Aziz Bouteflika, and it was opened in April 2019. The Pope can be seen walking, again with the rector of the mosque, Mohammed Mamoun Al-Kazimi. As we can see here, the Pope is visiting the mosque. The large dome of the mosque, which crowns the main building and houses the prayer hall, has a diameter of 50 meters and a height of 70 meters. And its cladding consists of decorative stone structure overlaid with gilded aluminum panels, and it gives the structure a visually light appearance. This complex also includes library, gardens, panoramic terraces, a research center, offices, museum, restaurants, and parking facilities. The Pope can be seen walking, again with the rector of the mosque. Behind him is all the press as they look at the Pope's visit. The Pope has now paused for a moment of silent reflection, and next to him is still the rector of the mosque. As we were saying earlier, the Pope will land in Algeria this morning, and he will be in the country from April 13th to April 15th, before then visiting Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. He's the first Pope to visit Algeria, but it's his third time in the country, as he visited it twice when he was still an Augustinian. This morning he visited the Makam el-Shahid Martyrs Monument and also met with the country's president and authorities. Later today he will visit privately the Welcome and Friendship Center of the Augustinian Missionary Sisters in the Bab el-Oued district of Algiers, and then at the end of the day he will meet with the Algerian community in the Basilica of Our Lady of Africa. The Pope has paused for a moment of silent reflection, and as we were saying earlier, this is the third largest mosque in the world, and it can hold up to 120,000 worshippers. The Pope and the rest of the delegation are putting their shoes back on, as is customary in mosques to take your shoes off at the end of. It's customary to take your shoes off while walking in the mosque, and now they are putting them back on. The Pope is now signing the Book of Honor of the mosque, and now after the end of the visit. The Pope is still signing the Book of Honor, and next to him is standing the rector of the mosque, Mohammed Mamoun Al-Kazimi. As we were saying earlier, this is the third largest mosque in the world after the Great Mosque of Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina, and it's one of the most important. And it was opened in April 2019 and has a very large complex that includes also a library, gardens, panoramic terraces, a research center, and more. Now the Pope and the rector of the mosque are taking an official photograph together. As we were saying, the Pope will be in Algeria from April 13th to 15th, before then visiting Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. Pope Leo is the first Pope to visit Algeria. He is now receiving a gift from the rector of the mosque. The gift is a sort of commemorative medal in gold and green. And they are now taking photographs together. The Pope is now instead giving his gift to the rector of the mosque, which is a commemorative medal of the apostolic journey. So on one side there's the Pope's coat of arms and his motto, and on the other side there is an image with an outline of the African continent with the 4 countries he will visit highlighted, and then St. Augustine depicted as well as with Our Lady of Africa, some children sitting in the center, and also at the top some important monuments that the Pope will visit during his journey, including the Martyrs Monument in Algiers, which he visited earlier this morning. Now they are all taking photographs together, and present again the Pope and the rector of the mosque, as well as Cardinal Jean-Paul Vesco, the Archbishop of Algiers, and next to him Cardinal Kouvakad, who's the prefect of the Dicastery for Interreligious Dialogue. In the Book of Honor of the Great Mosque, the Pope wrote a message in French asking that the mercy of God keep in peace and liberty the noble people of Algeria and all of humanity. Now the Pope and the rest of his delegation, along with the rector and the other representatives, have sat down in a room for a brief private meeting. As we can see, there's images of the mosque, the Great Mosque of Algiers, which is the third largest mosque in the world after the Great Mosque of Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina. It can hold 120,000 worshippers, and its 267-meter minaret, which we can see featured in these images, is the tallest in the world. It was built on initiative of the former president Abdelaziz Bouteflika, and it was opened in April 2019.
السلام عليكم. سلام قولا من رب رحيم. أما بعد.
Now the rector of the mosque, Mohammed Mamoun Al-Kazimi, is giving an address.
وعلى أرض الجزائر التي تعاقبت
We can see the Pope sitting with the rector of the mosque. Earlier today, the Pope had visited the Martyrs Monument, Mak-e-Shahid, it was his first public event in Algiers after landing earlier in the morning, and it commemorates the lives, those who lost their lives in the Algerian War for Independence from 1954 to 1962. And in that address, he said that the future belongs to men and women of peace. And he reiterated that God wants peace for all nations, a peace that is an expression of justice and dignity, and encourages the Algerian people to continue to keep God as a central place in their heritage. He had also that morning during that event expressed his thanksgiving for the opportunity to visit Algeria once again after having done so twice as a spiritual son of St. Augustine. And as we said earlier, this is the first time and said that a pope visits Algeria. At that same meeting, he explained he was seeing the face of a strong and young people as he had looked out to the 2,000 people in the square. Even though it was a rainy morning in Algiers, there were several people that were gathered at the monument to participate in this papal event. And at the heart of the Algerian people are friendship, trust, and solidarity, he said, which for them are not merely words but values that matter and give warmth and strength to your life together. Looking back at the long history of the country, Pope Leo also described it as rich in traditions, but also painful, marked by periods of violence. Precisely thanks to the nobility of spirit that characterizes you, he said, you have been able to overcome these trials with courage and integrity. That moment, that visit to the monument this morning, was a moment to pay tribute to the history of Algeria and the spirit of those who fought for independence, dignity, and sovereignty. And with that in mind, the Pope encouraged everyone to remember that God desires peace for every nation, not simply peace that is void of conflict, but one that is an expression of justice and dignity. The Pope then later in the afternoon actually, in the morning he went to the Monument of the Martyrs, but then in the afternoon he met with the civil authorities of Algeria and also with the country's president. And then again he talked about peace, and he called for societies to foster oases of peace in which human life and dignity are recognized as inviolable and never exploited. We can hear the rector of the mosque offering his address to Pope Leo.
التي ينشدها الإنسان لقد أدركت خبرة الإيمان عبر العصور أن في داخل الإنسان ميادين تدافع بين نوازع الاستعلاء والشهوة وبين أشواق الصفاء وسلامة القيم، وأن رسالة الدين إنما جاءت لترجح كلمة النور في هذا الصراع الباطني، لا لتؤجج الفتن والصراعات بين البشر. ومن هذا الأفق يطمح جامع الجزائر إلى أن يكون فضاء للعلم والحوار وخدمة الإنسان، ومقصدا لكل الباحثين عن المعرفة والسكينة.
In his address, for example, he says how religion is in its pure essence a message of serenity and security. This is the rector of the mosque speaking, and it's a force that can help build peace.
ويجعل من تزكية الإنسان أساس العمران حتى يكون البناء الحضاري امتدادا لنور يشرق في القلوب قبل أن يتجلى في الواقع. مستمدا ذلك كله مما تحمل.
He also explained how the Great Mosque of Algiers tries to be. The rector of the mosque also explained how the Great Mosque of Algiers tries to be a space of knowledge, of dialogue, and to be in service to humanity.
حافظت على التوازن بين الأصالة والانفتاح. ختاما، إننا قداسة البابا إذ نثمن جهودكم القيمية نؤكد أن أيادينا ممدودة دائما لكل مسعى يروم خير البشرية وكرامة الإنسان، شاكرين لكم إخلاصكم في تعزيز التعايش السلمي بين البشرية ونشر ثقافة السلام والوئام والدعوة إلى إحلال الحب والمودة بدل العداوة والبغضاء. نسأل الله أن يجعل لقاءنا هذا خطوة مباركة في درب السلام، وأن يبارك كل جهد صادق يسعى إلى توسيع دوائر التفاهم بين المؤمنين، وأن يهب عالمنا مزيدا من السكينة والعدل. وتفضلوا يا قداسة البابا بقبول فائق التحية والتقدير والاحترام.
In his address, the rector of the mosque also said that he appreciated the efforts of the Pope, and that they all try to build together to promote peace and dialogue together. I thank you for these reflections and for these important words in this visit, in this place that represents a space that is of God, a divine space, sacred, where many people come to pray to find the presence of God, of the Most High. These were the Pope's words in response, which are now being translated into Arabic.
المقدس حيث يأتي الناس الكثيرون لكي يصلوا هنا. شكرا على كل شيء.
As you know, I come with a lot of joy in Algeria because it is the land of my spiritual father, Saint Augustine, which also wanted to teach a lot to the world especially through the research of truth and of God, while recognizing the dignity of every human person and the importance of building peace.
جئت بفرح إلى الجزائر لأنها أيضا أرض القديس أغسطينوس الذي أنتمي إلى رهبنته. والقديس أغسطينوس كان دائما يبحث عن الله والحقيقة ويسعى أيضا من أجل السلام.
Cercare Dio
To look for God, to seek God, is to recognize the image of God in every creature, son of God, in every son and daughter that was created in the likeness of God. This for us means that it is very important to learn to live together while respecting the dignity of every person. Again, these were the Pope is responding, is addressing these remarks to the rector, which are being translated into Arabic.
وهذا يعني أن نبحث عن الإنسان ونبحث عن السلام ونبحث عن الإنسان الذي يريد الكرامة الإنسانية.
C'è un altro valore che
There is another value that you have, that you wanted to include in this beautiful center with the mosque, which is a place of worship, but also a center of research and study. It is so important that people are able to develop their intellectual capacity that God has given to people, so that we can discover how great creation is and how great that God has left us in all of creation, especially in the human beings, in people.
هذا المكان ومكان صلاة ومكان للبحث عن العلم، وبالتالي هنا يمكننا أن نكتشف أكثر الإنسان وكرامته.
Allora, con lo spirito, con questo luogo di preghiera,
with the Spirit, in this place of worship, of searching for truth through study, with the capacity to recognize the dignity of every human being, we know that this is the proof that we can learn how to respect each other mutually, live in harmony, and build a world of peace.
نعرف أن البحث عن الحقيقة وروح الحقيقة هذا يعني القدرة أن نلمس كرامة الإنسان ونعرف أن نحترمها ونعيش مع بعضنا البعض بسلام ووفاق.
Allora, questo pomeriggio,
this afternoon, I pray for you, for the people of Algeria, for all the people of the world, for peace and justice of the kingdom of God may be present amongst all of us, and that we can all be more convinced about the necessity to all be promoters of peace, of reconciliation, of forgiveness, and of that is really the mind of God and all of His creation.
سأصلي من أجلكم ومن أجل شعب الجزائر حتى يعم العدل والسلام بيننا وبين الجميع، ونكون بذلك مقتنعين أننا قادرين أن نكون صانعي سلام ومغفرة. شكرا.
That was the end of the address, the greetings exchange between the Pope and the rector of the mosque, Mohammed Mamoun Al-Kazimi. We can now see the Pope and the rector shaking hands and the rest of their delegation. As you were saying earlier, this was the third appointment of the Pope's first day in Algeria, which is the first leg of his trip, of his apostolic journey from April 13th to the 23rd, which will take him to after Algeria, Cameroon, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea. Later today, the Pope will then meet privately with the Augustinian missionary sisters at the Welcome and Friendship Center in Bab el Oued, which is a district in Algiers. And then later in the afternoon, he will meet with the Algerian community in the Basilica of Our Lady of Africa. The rector of the mosque is now accompanying the Pope Leo to his car, and next to him they are now embracing as the Pope is leaving. And that brings us to an end of this live broadcast of Pope Leo's visit to the Great Mosque of Algiers on Monday, April 13th. Please visit the Vatican News website, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's event and other Vatican and world news. I'm Isabella de Carvalho, and it has been a pleasure providing the English language translations for you all. Thank you to our in-studio audio technician, Father Pavel, and our audio coordinator, Bruno Orti, and all our media partners and our friends at the Deaf Catholic Youth Initiative for the Americas who have made this broadcast possible. And thank you all for joining us. Laudato Jesus Christus, praised be Jesus Christ.